Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We are working on Locrine, and today we get to hear from Thrasimachus in Act 3, Scene 2. Now that's quite a name, isn't it? No, so the things that have been going on. Albonact died on the battlefield. He was wounded but then killed himself as opposed to running away. Humber basically won that battle and is very happy about it, and Hubba won like Soldier of the match or whatever. He got a special crown for having done that. And then in Act 3, Scene 1, Ate gave us a preview of Act 3, saying that this is going to be akin to a snake biting a crocodile and both of them falling into the river. So yesterday's monologue, we had Locrine very angry about the fact that Albonact has died. He desperately wants to seek revenge on Humber and all of the Scythians for this. He said he wished that he could kill them 10,000 times over. But then he turns to Thrasimachus and he's like, tell me how Albonact died. And Thrasimachus says, after the traitorous host of Scythians entered the field with martial equipage, young Albonact, impatient of delay, led forth his army against the straggling mates, whose multitude did daunt our soldiers' minds. Yet nothing could dismay the forward prince. But with a courage most heroical, like to a lion mongst a flock of lambs, made havoc of the faint-heart fugitives, hewing a passage through them with his sword. Yea, we had almost given them the repulse, when suddenly from out the silent wood, Hubba, with 20,000 soldiers, cowardly came upon our weakened backs, and murthered all with fatal massacre. Amongst the which old Debin, martial knight, with many wounds was brought unto the death. And Albonact, oppressed with multitude, whilst valiantly he felled his enemies, yielded his life and honor to the dust. He, being dead, the soldiers fled amain, and I alone escaped them by flight to bring you tidings of these accidents. So this is its exposition, but it is interesting because I'm not sure that it tells the whole story. He's trying to be thorough, and he's like, you know, we're fighting the Scythians, and there were so many of them that our whole side, all of our soldiers were daunted by how many Scythians there were, but Albonact went through and he was, you know, slicing through them like hot knife through butter. He was making a passage for us with his sword, and he was fighting valiantly, and we had almost won. But then Hubba came up from behind us and slaughtered basically everybody, including Debin. And then when he gets to Albonact, he's like, Albonact, you know, fearlessly felled a lot of his enemies, but he yielded his life to the dust. He doesn't necessarily say that Albonact took his own life on the field of battle. He just says that he died on the field of battle. And Thrasimachus is like, I'm the only one who escaped because I ran away so I could tell you what happened. So after he shares this, Locrine is like, oh, woe is me. Nobody since Priam has ever grieved as much as I am grieving about the death of Albonact. And Gwendolen says, oh, woe is me. And not since Hecuba has anybody grieved as much as I am grieving for Albonact. And Camber says, oh, woe is me. Nobody since Niobe has grieved as much as I am now grieving for Albonact. And then Corineus is going to step in, and Corineus was one of Brutus's brothers, so he's an uncle to Locrine. Corineus is going to step in as sort of a voice of reason in tomorrow's monologue, so I'll see you then for that. Mwah.